Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a microscopic field trip to explore one of the absolute most fascinating concepts in all of biology, how a physical shape perfectly equals its biological function. We're going to dive deep into proteins, which are really the ultimate shapeshifters of the natural world. So, let's jump right in.
So, here's the game plan for today. We're going to look at proteins as the cell's workhorses, zoom in on their building blocks, trace out their 4 levels of structure, and then finally see what happens when that complex folding process goes wrong.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Proteins, the cell's workhorses.
Right now, literally at this very second, you've got thousands of proteins executing just a staggering variety of jobs in your body. We're talking digestive enzymes like salivary amylase breaking down the carbs from your lunch, transport proteins like hemoglobin shuttling oxygen through your bloodstream, and hormones like insulin keeping your blood sugar in check. It really begs the question, how on earth does one single category of molecule pull off all these completely different functions?
To figure that out, we need to zoom way in. Section 2, amino acids, the building blocks.
Okay, so every single protein is built from smaller pieces, monomers called amino acids. And they all share this exact same core structure. You've got a central alpha carbon atom, an amino group, a carboxyl group, and a basic hydrogen atom. But here's the absolute key, so definitely pay attention to this part. That R group on the side. That R group is the wild card. Nature gives us 20 common amino acids, and every single one has a totally different R group. Some are positively charged, some are negative, some love water, some completely repel it. Basically, that R group gives each amino acid its own unique chemical personality.
Now this brings us to a classic biological stumbling block. You hear essential and non-essential amino acids all the time, right? But what does that actually mean? Well, out of those 20 common amino acids we just talked about, your body can naturally whip up 11 of them on its own. Those are the non-essential ones. But those other 9? Your body just can't make them. Those are the essential ones, like isoleucine. You absolutely have to get them from your diet. In a very literal, molecular sense, you are what you eat.
So how do we actually snap these building blocks together to build a protein? It happens through a really neat chemical process called dehydration synthesis. It's almost like a recipe. First, the carboxyl group of one amino acid lines up with the amino group of the next one. Then they link up, and when they do, they kick out a water molecule, which is exactly why it's called dehydration. What's left behind is this incredibly strong covalent connection called a peptide bond. And as this happens over and over, you build up this long growing sequence called a polypeptide chain.
But here's the thing, a flat, simple chain of amino acids isn't quite ready to do any actual work yet. Which brings us to Section 3, 4 levels of structure.
Level 1 is the primary structure. Just picture a simple string of pearls. It's literally just the linear sequence of those amino acids we just built. And this exact order? It's dictated directly by your DNA. The gene encoding the protein tells the cell exactly which amino acid goes where. At this foundational stage, the specific order of the sequence is literally everything.
Moving on, things get 3D pretty fast with the secondary structure. Because of the chemical makeup of that peptide backbone, little hydrogen bonds start popping up between different sections of the chain. This causes our nice, straight string of pearls to start twisting and bending. It usually folds into one of 2 shapes, either a spiraling coil, which we call an alpha helix, or folded rows, known as a beta-pleated sheet. But we are definitely not stopping there. Now we hit the tertiary structure. This is where the protein takes its final, highly complex 3D shape. Remember those unique R groups with their different personalities? Well, this is their moment to shine. They start interacting in a way that seems chaotic, but is actually unbelievably precise. The hydrophobic R groups, the ones that are basically afraid of water, they fold inward, hiding deep in the center of the protein. The hydrophilic, water-loving ones, they push their way to the outside. Toss in some ionic bonds and these really strong covalent anchors called disulfide linkages, and bam! The whole thing snaps into its final, highly specific 3D shape.
Now, for a lot of proteins, that tertiary structure is the finish line. But some of the heavy lifters require a 4th step, quaternary structure. This is when you take several separate, fully folded polypeptide chains, we call them subunits, and they physically lock together to form one massive, functional superprotein. Hemoglobin, that oxygen carrier from earlier, is a perfect example of this. It actually needs 4 individual folded chains clumped together before it can do its life-saving work.
It's amazing when it works right. But we really need to look at what happens when this delicate folding process goes wrong.
Section 4. When protein structure fails.
Just think about this for a second. What actually happens to a living human being if a protein loses its shape? Or what if it's built with literally just one wrong building block? Well, the consequences can truly be a matter of life or death.
Take a look at the left here. That's normal hemoglobin. The amino acid sitting at position 7 is glutamate. Because that piece is correct, the whole protein folds perfectly, and your red blood cells form these nice smooth discs that just glide right through your veins. But over on the right, we have sickle cell hemoglobin. Thanks to a tiny genetic mutation, that glutamate at position 7 gets swapped out for a totally different amino acid, valine. Just that one single swap completely alters the entire structure of the protein. The hemoglobin molecules start forming these long, sticky, distorted fibers, and that causes the entire red blood cell to collapse into this rigid crescent or sickle shape. These clump up, clog the blood vessels, and cause severe pain, breathlessness, and dizziness.
This just blows my mind because it perfectly illustrates the mathematical scale we're dealing with here. A hemoglobin molecule contains around 600 amino acids, 1 in 600. Getting 599 of them perfectly right just isn't enough. Changing a single amino acid out of 600 is the entire difference between a perfectly healthy cell and sickle cell anemia. That's how completely dependent function is on structure.
Proteins can also lose their shape thanks to outside environmental factors, which is a process we call denaturation. If a protein gets hit with extreme temperatures, wild pH changes, or harsh chemicals, those delicate hydrogen bonds we talked about earlier just fall apart. The protein unravels and completely loses its functional shape, even though that primary string of amino acids is still technically intact. A really easy, real-world way to visualize this is frying an egg. When that liquid-clear egg white hits a scorching hot pan, the heat permanently denatures the albumin protein, turning it into a solid white mass. And for the most part, denaturation is completely irreversible. I mean, you can't exactly unfry an egg, right?
But I do have a really fun fact for you. Not all proteins fall apart that easily. Evolution has come up with some absolute molecular marvels over the years. There are literally bacteria swimming around right now in boiling hot springs, and their proteins function perfectly at those insane temperatures. Or just think about your own stomach. It's essentially a highly acidic vat that would shred most normal proteins to pieces. And yet, your digestive enzymes hold their shape perfectly in that environment to keep doing their jobs. It's just a spectacular biological adaptation.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to hammer home the absolute core rule of biology we've been exploring today. If you take away literally nothing else, remember this. Protein shape is critical to its function. From that very first genetic sequence of amino acids all the way to the final 3D fold, physical form always dictates destiny.
Which leaves us with this final, kind of wild thought. If just one single building block out of 600 can fundamentally change a human life, what other invisible, microscopic shapes are secretly dictating your health right at this very second? Thank you so much for coming along on this microscopic journey today.